Welcome you all. In this session, let us see how to protect the rotor of the generator against faults. So we will have three different ways of protecting the rotor against the faults. So the first one is the field ground fault protection. So whenever say we usually operate the field circuit which is ungrounded. So if a single ground fault has occurred, it will not affect the operation of the generator, or neither it will cause any damage to the generator. Whereas if a single ground fault has occurred, what will happen is it will increase the stress to the ground in the field, which will initiate another ground fault. So if a second ground fault has occurred, then a part of the field winding will be bypassed, wherein which it will increase the current which is flowing through the remaining portion of the field winding. So in that case, what will happen is there will be an unbalance in the air gap flux, there will be an unbalance in the magnetic force, which will increase the vibrations. Okay, so we shouldn't make the current to flow only to a portion of the winding. So it will cause the local heating of it. So we need to protect the rotor against the ground fault, field ground fault also. So for that you see this is the diagram, schematic diagram of the protection which is employed for the rotor protection. So this is the schematic diagram of rotor earth protection. So a DC voltage will be applied across the field and with respect to the ground through the help of a polarized moving iron relay. So whenever a single ground fault has occurred, it is not necessary that the relay has to operate and it has to trip. But if a single ground fault has occurred, it can give an alarm. So it indicates that there is a fault occurred. So there should be an immediate way of clearing it. That means to say whatever load is there on the generator, it has to be removed, and the section has to be shut down as quickly as possible. That needn't trip always. Okay, but in the case of brushless machines, the main field circuit is not accessible. So if there is a partial field failure due to short circuiting of turns in the main field winding, it is detected by the increase in the level of the field current. So a severe fault or a short circuit of the diode is detected by the relay, which will monitor the current which is flowing through the field. So this is how you can protect the rotor against the field to ground fault. So next is a loss of excitation. So whenever the excitation of a generator is lost, it will rotate at a high speed and it operates as an induction generator. So if we consider a round rotor generator, those generators don't have the damper windings, and hence those particular type of generators are not suitable for such an operation. So what will happen is the rotor will be overheated very quickly due to the heavy induced currents in the rotor. So whereas in the case of salient pole generators, the rotor is not overrated because they have damper windings which carry the induced currents. So the stators of both the salient as well as non-salient pole generators will be overheated due to the wattless current which is drawn by the machines, nothing but the magnetizing current. So the stator overheating usually doesn't occur as quickly as in the case of rotor overheating. So usually this loss of excitation or field failure, it may be caused due to the failure of the excitation or nothing but the malfunctioning of a faulty field breaker. So we usually what we use is to protect against rotor against the loss of excitation, we use a offset mode or a directional impedance relay which will have the characteristics as shown in this RX diagram. So it is recommended whenever there is a large generator, whenever the generator loses its excitation, it is recommended that the locus of the equivalent generator impedance, it moves from the first quadrant to the fourth quadrant irrespective of the operating conditions. So this will protect your there is the Moore relay or the impedance relay should protect the generator against the loss of excitation. So next, coming to the protection against rotor overheating due to unbalanced the three-phase stator currents. So the negative sequence component of the unbalanced stator currents will cause a double frequency current to be induced in the rotor iron. So if this component is very high, then the overheating of the rotor will also be very high. So the unbalanced in the stator currents usually occurs due to a fault in the stator winding, or whenever there is an external fault but it is not cleared quickly, or an open circuiting of a phase, or whenever there is a failure of one contact of the circuit breaker. So the time for which a rotor can be allowed to withstand such a condition can be expressed as I square T equal to K. I2 square equal to I2 square T equal to K, where I2 is nothing but the negative sequence component of the current and T is the time. K is a constant which depends on the type of the generating set and its cooling system. So K is equal to 7 for a turbo generator, whereas K is equal to 60 for a salient pole hydro generator. So in order to protect the rotor against overheating due to unbalance in the stator currents, we usually use a negative sequence filter and a relay. So this particular negative sequence filter and the relay will respond to any faults which occurs due to unbalanced in the stator currents. Next, we will see a miscellaneous protection scheme, that is other than the rotor and the stator. What are the other types of protection we need to incorporate so that the generator is protected against any damage. So next, coming to the miscellaneous protection. In the miscellaneous protection, first one is over voltage protection. So over voltage protection, as it states, whenever the voltage exceeds the preset value, it has to operate. So this over voltage usually it is caused by the defective voltage regulator, or it is due to the sudden loss of electrical load on generators. So when a load is lost, usually what happens is the generator rotates at a high speed, and therefore the voltage also increases. So if we take an example of steam power station, it is possible to bypass the steam before the speed reaches a limit above which a dangerous over voltage can be produced. In the case of steam power station, there is an automatic voltage regulator which will control the over voltage which is associated with overspeed also. So usually in the case of hydro and gas turbine sets, there is an over voltage relay which will be provided in order to protect the generator against the over voltage. So next is overspeed. So usually a turbo generator is provided with a mechanical overspeed device. So the speed governor, what it does is it will control the speed. So this speed governor will be designed to prevent any speed increase even with 100% load rejection. So an emergency centrifugal overspeed device will also be there in order to trip the emergency steam valves when the speed will exceed 110%. So there are several other electrical faults which also causes the overspeeding of the generator, and hence the HV circuit breakers, field circuit breakers and the steam turbine valves will be tripped simultaneously. So in order to protect against overspeed, we need to have an overspeed relays wherein the setting of the overspeed relays, for example, say for the hydro sets, it is around 140%. So next is protection against motoring. So when in case the steam supply, in the case of steam generators, say if the steam supply is cut off, then what will happen is the generator will operate as a motor. So the steam turbine will get overheated because there is insufficient steam which is passing through the turbine to carry away the heat which is generated by the windings. So therefore, what we need to do is we need to have a protective relay which is required to protect the steam turbines. So usually the relay will operate when there is a power output fall below 3%. So even the hydro sets requires protection against motoring. So not only the steam turbines, even the water turbines also requires protection. So next is protection against vibration and distortion of the rotor. So why does vibration occurs in the case of rotor? I have already told you whenever there is a mechanical failure or whenever there is a fault, ground fault which occurs, there is an unbalance in the magnetizing currents, and there will be a vibration. So one more thing is there will be overheating of the rotor, which is also caused by the unbalanced in the stator currents, which I have already explained. So this overheating will produce the vibration. So we have a vibration measuring device which will be present. It is also used in the steam turbine sets. So that device will detect the vibration which is caused either by the electrical or the mechanical causes. So whenever there is a vibration, an alarm is given so that we can immediately clear the fault. Okay. The next is bearing overheating protection. So we need to monitor the temperature of the bearing also. That is even important. So it is detected by inserting a temperature sensing device in a hole in the bearing. So for large machines where we have a lubricating oil which is present, so that oil is being circulated through the bearing. So it acts as a cooling agent. So whenever the bearing is overheated, the alarm is given, which will make which in turn we can identify that the bearing is overheated and the circulation of the oil is required. So this may even occur when, say, the oil is not circulated properly. When there is a failure in the circulation of the lubricating oil, then also this alarm will be given. So next is protection against auxiliary failure. So whenever the power plant is operated, you know that the auxiliaries are very important for running the generator sets. So the high grade protective equipment is used usually, and we need to protect this auxiliaries system also. That means to say, for large generating sets, we need to protect against loss of vacuum and the loss of boiler pressure. So even we need to protect against the failure of the induced draft fans. Okay, so we need to protect each and every auxiliary equipment which is associated with the generating set. Next, coming to the protection against voltage regulator failure. So I have already told you that there will be automatic voltage regulator in the case of steam turbine also, and we need to protect this automatic voltage regulator even, which in turn will govern the speed. So we use a definite time DC overcurrent relay which will operate whenever there is a overcurrent in the rotor, and in such a situation the excitation will be switched to a predetermined value for manual control. So we need to use an under voltage relay if we are using if we are going to protect the transformer also. So each and different types of generator sets, we use different types of relays. Next is protection against pole slipping. So in case of the system disturbances after the operation of the circuit breaker, or whenever there is a heavy load, the generator rotor may oscillate. So whenever it oscillates, there will be variation in the current, there will be variation in the voltage as well as in the power. So this oscillation will not be permanent, it will gradually reduce and it will vanish. Therefore, in such a situation, whenever the rotor is getting oscillated, it doesn't mean that the relay has to operate, okay? But we need to slightly take care. So in some cases, angular displacement of the rotor, it exceeds the stability limit, and what happens is the rotor slips a pole pitch. So in case if the disturbance is still persisting, then the relay has to trip. So next is field suppression. So whenever a fault occurs in the generating winding, what will happen? The circuit breaker will operate and the generator is isolated from the system. So in case the generator still continues to feed the fault, as long as the excitation is there, then the damage will occur. So what we need to do is we need to suppress the field as quickly as possible, and so that the field winding is not destroyed. So to achieve this, what we do is the field winding is connected to a discharge resistor so that it absorbs the stored energy. So the discharge resistor in turn is connected in parallel with the field winding before opening the field of the circuit breaker. And the last one is the backup protection. So when we employ any kind of protection, we always need a backup. Okay, so the overcurrent relays are used as a backup protection. So when one protection device failed to operate, we need one more protective device so that it operates in the failure of the primary protection scheme. So this is how we can achieve we can protect the generator against any kinds of faults.